So how do you drop this imbalance in hormones? How do you change your PCOS status? How do you change fibroids? How do you change endometriosis? How do you change cervical and breast cancer? How do you change the skin acne? How do you change hormonal, the issues with the emotions and stuff? How do you boost your progesterone levels? This is how you do it. 1, drop the pills, drop the implants, drop the injections. And then detoxify the system through fasting. Number 2, there is a very beautiful organ that God gave us. It's called the liver. It has its pathways of breaking down estrogen. How does it break down its estrogen? You have to feed the liver and make sure that your liver is not fatty. So therefore, you have to go on a zero carb diet for quite some time. You have to go on a zero seed oil diet. You have to go on zero wheat and zero sugar. Once you do that, you detoxify your system and then go on 1 meal a day and at least a 48-hour fast every after 2 weeks. Your liver will clean up to start breaking the fat out and give you the energy. Once you've recovered from the fatty liver, you will recover from obesity. And then guess what? Your liver has a way of breaking down estrogen, but you have to stimulate that. And how do you stimulate that? Cabbage juice and fermented cabbage. Cabbage juice, broccolis, cauliflower, these are foods that have enzymes that the liver will use to break down your estrogen. So therefore, eat them. Eat the cruciferous vegetables, eat the green leafy vegetables. You need it. Now, if your doctor tells you about HRT, hormonal replacement therapy, run. Run from that office and count your losses. Because hormonal replacement therapy, even the contraceptive cycle that you use to just balance your hormones, run. Why? Because this hormonal replacement therapy fools your system that you are actually pregnant. And therefore, all the blood flows into the uterus. Unfortunately, there are women who have had to take off the uterus. This is a sad story. There are women who have been told and who have actually undergone hysterectomy, a procedure of taking out your uterus. But nobody told you to change your diet. Nobody told you to lose that weight. So you went for the surgery to fix the symptoms. You will get in trouble still. Most women who use hormonal replacement therapy, they end up suppressing the hot flashes. They end up balancing their hormones shortly. Give them 3 years. They come back with fibroids. They come back with cervical cancer. They come back with infertility. They come back with the PCOS and the polyps. Now that is another source of revenue to the big pharma. So anybody who is trying to mention you anything about hormones, they are synthetic, they are made in the laboratory, they are not original, they are added in some things to just make patency. So remember this, all the contraceptives were designed to be progesterone. But what happened is, no pharmaceutical company can patent progesterone because that's a natural hormone. You cannot patent a hormone. So what did they do to patent these hormones? They had to add in the progestins from the laboratory. They had to add in some preservatives so that they have all the rights to patent these products and then start selling them. That's how they ended up becoming a problem. That's how hormonal contraceptives moved from being a service to being an industry. And now that industry has actually been provided a market for in Africa because of our rising populations, because of our inability to say no to ejaculation. Now, semen retention is very important for men because semen retention basically means you get an orgasm but you don't ejaculate. You don't have to ejaculate if you don't want to make a woman pregnant. It's that simple. You will have every single enjoyment for that sex until the point where you get an ejaculation, because when you get ejaculation, you become a zombie. Once you become a zombie, you don't want to roll conversations with your woman. You cannot erect anymore. We know of men who, after one ejaculation, they cannot stand up to the occasion again, so they'll rather sleep. And most men know after an ejaculation, you don't want that woman there. Unless you've connected on a very emotional level, you don't want that woman in that bed. You just want them to disappear. So I am actually helping you. If you have erectile dysfunction problems, if you are 1 minute man, simply hold back your ejaculation. Enjoy the orgasm, but push back the ejaculation. If you feel that ejaculation is coming out, simply run somewhere and eat something. Take some snacks, maybe ground nuts, eat an avocado, and then come back and proceed. For heaven's sake, where are you rushing to? Where are you rushing to? You are not being, there's no bullet on your head that you now have to finish that in that 1 minute. Simply go, walk, distract yourself a little bit, and come back. One day we will teach you deeply about semen retention and how to actually push harder. But for now, simply start by practicing it because it's a skill. So once you've done with the pills and the hormonal replacement therapies, once you've done with that, and by the way, before I just move from that pills, let me explain hot flashes. Women, if you're beyond menopause, what is going to happen is there's a lot of estrogen actually makes your blood vessels towards the skin to dilate. So there's a lot of blood flowing towards the skin, and that's why you get that hot flashes. But when you take hormonal replacement therapy for that hot flash, what it does is it actually sends blood from your skin back to the uterus. So you can imagine if you don't have a uterus, that will be a serious problem. But it sends blood back into the uterus because the body fools, those drugs fool the body that you're pregnant, and therefore the body has to take demand of blood from your skin into the uterus. And that's how you start getting free from the hot flashes. However, you get free from the hot flashes, but you come back with the cervical and the breast cancer. There are women who have done breast cancer surgeries, and then they have been given new breasts, in quotes, and then they still come back with another breast cancer, sorry. So imagine, you do a surgery for breast cancer, you remove all the breasts, they make some breasts for you, and then again you come back with another breast cancer for the new breast that they made for you. This is because of the hormonal replacement therapies and the drugs that are used to actually suppress your immunity. When you suppress your immunity, cancer takes over. Okay, so number one, no pills, no HRT. Number two, drop plastics. Microplastics are very dangerous because, and I'm not telling you because it's difficult for you to drop most plastics, but those plastics that are very flexible, they have something that is called BPA. BPA is the one that makes the plastic very flexible. So if you're going to those party cups, okay, those water bottles that are very soft, drop them because the ones that are loaded with BPA, and BPA is actually a problem to you. It's actually an endocrine destabilizer. It will destabilize your estrogen levels. So drop those plastics. Number three, there's something called Teflon that is actually present in those non-sticky pans. Therefore, if you're that woman who has swag in your kitchen, you want to use non-sticky pans, simply make your life easier. Use glass, use stainless steel for your preservation of things, okay? Even for your cooking. Be easy. Use stainless steel and use glass. Make your life easier. Another one, ladies who are always buying diapers, baby diapers. When we were growing up, there were now diapers. They used to use napkins. These were cotton napkins. We used to call them that way. These cotton napkins are very okay because even though the cottons are sprayed with the glyphosate to control the herbs, what you do is you buy them and then you wash them and air them outside for about 12 hours. Once you air them outside, you've done away with the estrogens in this. The reason why most children, most teenagers, specifically males, are having issues with erection and enlarged prostates is because of what they used when they were kids. This child started their life through CS, and then they followed up with the milk formulas. Then they followed up, they messed up their guts. Then they followed up with the noodles, the biscuits, the wheat product, the sugar, and all that. And then now, so you gave them a reward through CS, no fast immunity. Then this child feeding became a problem. So sugar, processed foods, and all that. And then you put this child on the diapers that are made with chemicals and they're made with the material that actually harbors estrogen. Then you start affecting this child. So simply go back to the towels and the napkins. Don't be a modern woman. Don't. There's nothing modern about raising a child. Simply raise your child in the way you were raised. Okay? Don't be a modern woman that much. And then there's an issue that most of us cannot control is about the meats. Nowadays, the market is dirty about meats because what they do is they feed cattle and chicken with estrogen so that they can grow fast and become fat. It's all business. That estrogen will end up in our systems, and that is a problem. Amazingly, our body still has a way to clear this. And I just told you, there are things that you cannot avoid. For example, the plastics and for example, the meats. So what do? You eat them, but what do? You make them fatty, and then you make sure your liver is fixed to the things that I just told you about fixing the fatty liver, and then the liver will eliminate estrogen in your system, and that's how you recover from that. Therefore, your body is just a perfectly made thing. So, even the clothes that we dress in nowadays, if you're dressing in cotton clothes, simply air them out for about 8 to 12 hours. You need it. Okay? Good. Then avoid all the chemicals, the glyphosates. This is going to happen for those people who love Irish potatoes. Irish potatoes are a mess because they are planted on large scale and they have to be sprayed to control the herbs, and also to control pests. And above all, during harvesting time, they have to kill the upper green part so that it becomes easier to harvest. And this came in as a result of having to feed the food industry that makes those French fries and those chicken, you know them. So you are actually feeding on glyphosate, which is basically an estrogen and endocrine disruptor. So you get into imbalance in these hormones. So those Irish potatoes were genetically modified to resist the glyphosate. So listen to this. You plant these Irish potatoes and then you want to control the weeds. And also, when they are grown, you want to kill the upper green part so that you can harvest them with ease. But if you spray these Irish potatoes with the glyphosate, the herbicides, it will end up killing even the Irish potato itself. So therefore, you need to modify it so that it can resist that herbicide, so that only the weeds that are not modified will die and it will remain growing up. Okay? So that's the problem. So when they modified it genetically, they actually included estrogens in them. That is one. But number two, this glyphosate is already an endocrine disruptor. So you end up having estrogen dominance and imbalance in these hormones. So what do? Stay away from Irish potatoes unless you're planting them on your own. But even if you're planting them on your own, who told you that the seedlings or hizo mbegu unatumia, they are not genetically modified? Right now, everything is literally GMO. The government allowed GMO in. So you cannot trust anything unless you just have a control. That's why this channel exists, because one day we will actually motivate you to have your own garden, to simply monitor what you're doing. You know, maize, those seedlings that we used to preserve to use for the next planting season, they are nowhere to be seen now. They're nowhere to be seen now. They took them intentionally. They destroyed them and then brought you the hybrid maize seedlings. And all of us ran to the hybrid maize seedlings. We cannot follow that route. Okay, we cannot follow that route. So simply unlearn. So stay away from chemicals, stay away from skin products. When your dermatologist is trying to market to you that skin product, ask them, how did we end up getting skin problems that we need a product to use it for our skin? Your skin will do perfectly if you fix your gut, from mouth all the way to the anus. If you fix that tube, your skin is just a symptom. Whatever you see here is actually what is happening here. Fix this one by dropping the inflammatory foods, the three that we mention all the time. Start fasting and enjoy salt. And then perform the obvious. Enjoy the sun, rest. The sleep is very important. Breathe. Make sure your environment is highly aerated. Reduce the stress levels. Go and exercise. A simple walk is important for you. And then rehydrate adequately. Add some pinch of salt in your drinking water to hydrate adequately. These are things that you can do with a lot of ease. You don't need to be pushed to do these things. There are things that you can do with a lot of ease. And then enjoy your cabbage juice. When you're trying to break a fast, take cabbage juice, because it has all that will fix your liver and gives your liver enzymes that will actually break down estrogen. Then that will fix your thyroid. Once you fix your thyroid, you fix your liver, you fix your gut. Estrogen stabilizes with insulin stabilizing. You will be in a perfect shape. Okay? And then talk to that man. If your cycle allows you to have safe days, go ahead and do it. If he can't, let him practice at least semen retention or the pull-out game. If he can't, let him wear a condom. But if you go to the extremes, ladies, simply use the copper IUD. Of course, you'll have some abdominal upset here and there, but use that. You can also use female condoms. Don't be lied to, and don't lie to us that you have latex allergy. Don't be lied to that eating a sweet without the cover is sweeter. Ejaculation is in the head of the man. That's why they masturbate. Why don't they wear a condom when they are masturbating?